Let me request my friend, philosopher, guide, and what is the kind of real life that might be happening? REAL and REEL. So that's the topic of today, sir. And let's see how we can continue that interest level and keep moving with along with other people also. Warm welcome, DrTPS.
Oh, actually, thank you, Srinivas ji. I have nothing to say because I think all of the people who joined here are equally uh, brighter and have enough wisdom. Always there is a gap between what is expected and what is the nominal thing which people wanted to have. Last two sessions of World of uh, Craft Foundation discussions was on consciousness. We are not conscious about what is happening around. If that consciousness is set, probably we know how it has to go, and maybe we can redirect to that. It is not that as simple as you say that realization, educating somebody to get into that, pushing up somebody. Not even there is a measure to say that somebody realized, somebody has got spirituality. So it's very difficult task. It is not like giving a pass certificate for 10th class. Somebody can say that you are a realized person. So for such people also there are. It is not 24 hours, 7 days, 365 days they are spiritually awakened. Maybe whatever the dose in which the medicine effect like that, you have got a some small fraction of your lifetime, you have got some feeling like that. Yes, even if somebody says I don't want, I don't want, I don't want, there is an I which is already there. So they are not able to get out of that I don't want. So there is a saying that when I say I don't want, there is an I inside that. You have not even got out of it. So without saying what is doing is what is actually required. So most of the proponents are not practitioners. That's the biggest problem which we have. That is why people don't have faith. That is why people don't want to communicate. We don't require a global leader. We need local leaders, many, who need to get the steps educated to them so they create it all around. That is what I feel it is to be done.
Excellent. Uh, to be more specific, can you give us your views on what is a real life, and if at all there is something called a real life, what is that that's happening?
For each one of us, the path is different, the ways are different, the methods are different, life is different. Uh, I, 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 I don't understand as the water flows, I don't understand until it reaches where I am flowing. So each one of us are flowing in different directions. Every flow is good. So there is nothing called this is life, this is how life has to be. There is no specific method to say if I live like this, you have a better life, and if you don't live like this, you don't have a better life. I don't think an uneducated, not attended any of those schools. My father was never a literate, not even could write. But I don't say his life was useless because he did not realize. He did his job as an agriculturalist. He has got his life. I have got a different life. My children have got a different life. So if you look at 3 generations, all of us have got a different life in their own time. I cannot equate this and tell that this is how you should live. It never happens. I don't think old stories by saying Rama lived like this, Krishna lived. It is not to tell people that this is how you should live. The essence is to be understood. When we talk about the story from the um, forest, how the lion is the king of the forest, it is not to live like a lion. It is not that you cannot do that. Everyone has got their own ways of life. How do we take some lessons from that so that you make your masala in your own style? Right? So that is what each one of us do. When I think of Einstein, it is not I wanted to become an Einstein. I am not studying his story like that. So if somebody asks me, I remember maybe 22 years back, somebody interviewed me and asked, who is my role model? Then I told him, Dr. TPS role model is Dr. TPS, where I have inculcated many things from different people. That's it.
Wonderful. And to go on to this specific question, in the light of what you said, now there are these parental aspirations wanting their children to become something. And then in the conventional school, the system was like, they would study, they would perform, they would excel in a particular arena. And they say that the moment they get 80 to 90 marks in mathematics or science, then that student is a good student, as though they're really going to do something in mathematics and science in their real life. So what was all that story of life, and what are the changes that we need to really bring about?
I must have had interaction with maybe around 1 million teachers, 1 million students, and 1 million parents. Whenever a student comes and asks me, I have complained about my parents complained about me like this, or maybe a parent says I have complained about my son like this. I keep only asking one question: go and ask your father or mother what they wanted to become. Did they become what they wanted? Is it that I wanted something and I became like that? I don't think. I never wanted to become something like what I am today. So earlier, traditionally, we had a life, as again I said, the water flows it down. No, where is it flowing? As the instance comes, as the occasion comes, we keep flowing. Right? That was the path of life. Today we want only canals to be drawn. We don't have distributaries and tributaries. Distributaries and tributaries are as per the slope. But today we have bund and canals. We want all that to be flown in the way we want. But that doesn't have the beauty of life. Right? If anybody understands that, it is only for a purpose. The life has become like looking for economical development is development. There is much higher development than economic development, that is human development. That is not being understood by even any of the indexes when people make in terms of the United Nations or the world indexes. When you look at it, it is not looking at the overall holistic activities, because there is no measure for your spirituality. It is you can become a spiritual person where physically you are uncomfortable, but internally you are comfortable. But our happiness index cannot measure this. Therefore, India stands maybe at the lowest rank. So it is not to be measured. My life pattern, my style, it is not to be measured. But somebody has to know that there is a different pattern like this available. So I believe that a teacher's job is to keep a buffet, and every student should come and taste and then find, oh, this is what I wanted to be. Maybe that is not the right thing. They can go to the second counter and taste again. So it keeps changing by age. It keeps changing by the situation and the surroundings which you have. It keeps changing by the region where you are. Right. So there is nothing called, yes, this is what is. That is where we fail most of the time.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. TPS, for setting the trend. Can I move on to Dr. TPS on that?
Yeah. Before picking it up, I have two comments on the earlier two speakers.
Yes, sir.
One, we can pick up examples of individuals who became successful. But you must understand there can be millions of failures during the process, which never comes as examples. See, when we talk about somebody who was a dropout from a school became a millionaire, there are many such, but we only keep talking about those who became successful. But there are a lot of people who failed during the process. So, de-schooling, last time when we had a discussion, I was mentioning there is a beautiful documentary on de-schooling, which is from America. If somebody is interested, you can look at that.
What is the duration of that documentary?
It is 40 minutes, and there is a series of things also available on different platforms. And there is a beautiful book on hope written by Hope, on schooling aspects, how freedom has to be given to children, the kite examples, and many such things. We should understand uh, our parents are now. It is nice that when Umesh ji talks about Umesh ji is an engineer, he is able to guide his children. I am a scientist, I am able to guide my children. But understand, the parents are not that. 80% of the parents in India are not educated, or they have a vision. When they don't have a vision, they don't have a place where they can be put. So we are not talking about the specifics, we are talking about general things. So we have a problem. Now we are able to communicate on online. That doesn't mean the whole India is able to communicate. No, we have 95% of the people don't communicate on online. Can I take that Dr. Usharani has written VIHE, Vivekananda Institute of Human Excellence? Dr.
Yes,
Usharani,
sir.
is it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was associated almost 20 years with the Vivekananda Institute of Human Excellence from 90s to 2000 beginning, almost 15 years regularly, everyday classes. Nice. I don't know whether Dr. Usharani read the book by Swami Vivekananda, India, My Eternal India, in which there are few pages on education. I must have read it 1,000 times, without exaggeration I am telling. It's very hard to understand the purpose of life, purpose of education. But Vivekananda beautifully put it, education is man-making. As simple as that. Education is man-making. And when we say man-making, it is not that we want engineers, doctors. We want different variety of people. I keep saying everybody need not to become collectors. No. Collector also require a driver. Collector also require a doctor. Collector also require a sweeper. We have a difficulty in identifying when we say what a child has to become. When he gets different positions at higher and higher, they are all great. That is what we always count upon. That is where we should understand it is not when we become in the status higher, we think it is success. When we become financially better, we call them as successful. We can say, I don't want any job. Easy for us to say because we already have sufficient money with us. But you ask a normal person why he wanted to get educated, he want to become rich, he want to earn his bread. So we should understand, we can always talk about philosophy only when the physical needs are met. So I rewrite the Maslow's principle in a slightly different style, in which I keep saying, you are emotionally problems comes only when you are physically fit. Physically I have a comfort, then I think about emotionally, somebody is not loving me, somebody is hating me, I have got enemies. All that will come only when I have a house and a bread and a dress. Otherwise my thoughts are not on somebody who is my enemy or a friend. So first physical, then emotional, then I think how do I learn, read, understand the world, and get into higher and higher positions and power and all that, you know. So first is physical, emotional, intellectual, then I know, oh, I need a status, I need to talk about my experience, my examples. That is social. Otherwise we are limited to your family. When you come out, then you come out only when you have all these together. Intellectually I am strong, emotionally I am strong, physically I am strong, I can talk to the society. That is where probably all of us are. That is why we are able to blah 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 like this. And when you get into the next level of spirituality, then you understand all this doesn't matter. My job is to really get into some small aspects of making some difference, not to my family, to somebody else around the world. So I can give hundreds of examples where DrTPS influenced somebody and then made a difference in somebody's life. Right? So it is, that is what I said, we want examples, not from what I did for few, we need, like people like Umesh ji who also made a difference. His examples has been put into practice in academic institutions. We need academic institutions run by acharyas who practiced what they did in their life. That's what I'm saying. We need a lot of people who spread across, who will become guidance, or who are acharyas really. They need not stay in one place. We need people become advisors, acharyas in different institutions. If that can be done, what is the vision which we have? That is why we keep saying the world is from Vanaprastham is what we have to be into. So if we are in Vanaprastham and then we are ready to move wherever we wanted to go and wherever we can place our roles, I think that is what we should do.
Right. So since you're based on the Maslow's hierarchy and the need requirements as per the Maslow's hierarchy are different at different levels, we need to underline here and be very clear that for different levels, different educational might be required. Their physical, their emotional, their intellectual needs will be different, and therefore we cannot have a uniform schooling system. We should have a schooling practice whereby the different needs of the different children and the individuals are recognized.
Srinivas ji, just
DrTPS.
Just I wanted to add on what you were discussing. There is a great quote which says, Amandram aksharam nasti, nasti moolam aushadham. Ayogya purusho nasti, yojagaha tatra durlabaha. There is no individual
explanation.
Yeah, Amandram aksharam nasti. There is no letter in the world which is useless. You put them in the nice form, it becomes a poem. You put them in a wrong sense, you can make bad words also out of it. Amandram aksharam nasti, nasti moolam anaushadam. There is no root or a stem or a flower or a no fruit which is useless or useful. It is useful for some purpose or some other purpose. Ayogya purusho nasti. There is no individual who is useless. We are useless. Not useless, useless.
Yes.
Okay. Why we are useless? Why we are useless? Because yojagaha tatra durlabaha. People who can form this binding between people are missing. Now, when there is an opportunity, I am telling you, we will connect you to. It's not that I have got a entrepreneurship cell or an incubation cell. I am saying, Ramesh ji says, I will tell you, I will connect to people who have got. So if you can connect people to the right place, right thing, something will become fertile. Right? It is not every seed is bad.
Yes. In fact, the highest job that I have taken is do the connectivity.
Yojagaha tatra durlabaha. Yojagaha tatra durlabaha.
Ramesh ji, please share your phone number. Ramesh ji should share his phone number.
My number is already there.
All of you can put down your numbers, please.
My number is already there on the display.
Yeah, please. Why I found the graveyard to be the richest place is most of the people with their beautiful thoughts and beautiful ideas unfulfilled, and that they have kept it as their core secrets of life, or for that matter, even the Vedas, which were kept as secrets for long times, right? All this ultimately have to go to the graveyard. So there.
Quoting Harishchandra? Quoting what Harishchandra Maharaj told?
Sriniji, that knowledge makes you the most ideal person waiting for that fortune to be there and then do nothing in this world while alive.
Exactly.
Actually,
So therefore,
there is a great joke which
ladies and
says,
gentlemen, what is that?
Yaksha Prashna, what was asked to Dharmaputra by the Yaksha before taking the water was one question, which is the most surprising things in the world. He says when somebody goes to graveyard or I am taken to graveyard, the other fellows who are carrying think that they are permanent here.
Shivkumarji,
Yeah,
Yeah, who is this?
Shivkumarji, where do you stay in Hyderabad?
I am in Bovenpalli.
Moinpalli. Okay, that's very nice.
Adding to what Dr. TPS said, there's one great Siddha who told when people mourn over dead body, the Siddha told, tomorrow's dead body is carrying out today's dead body.
Yeah. ഓരോരുത്തരായി കാലനൂർക്ക് കടക്കവേ ശേഷിപ്പോർ സ്ഥിരമെന്നോർപ്പു എന്താശ്ചര്യം ഇതിൽ പരം. Those who are staying here, they think I am permanent here. That's the biggest ആശ്ചര്യം.
They are in the biggest myth. Really, I will tell you.